I like natto. Do you know natto? Okay. Because the food is natto is very delicious. Many people don't like natto, but
Hi, hola.
Hola.
We're gonna go to like Golden Guy actually.
Yes. I can try.
You said you're a little bit shy, like before getting into this word.
Yes.
But I don't think so actually.
It's middle.
Okay,
Like
middle.
shy or
Like
extroverted.
center,
Yeah.
present center, right? Actually, I learned English about like watching the like
Films or
film the American dramas
Yes.
and like doing the shadowing. You know what shadowing?
no?
No? Like shadowing is like to mimic like pronunciation, native speakers
Oh, okay.
pronunciation.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and do it and like trying to like doing the English conversation, online English conversation service. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Yuta.
You're a native speaker. You live in like US, right?
Yes.
So what about my English skills, like speaking skills and
Really good.
really good?
Really good. Your English is really good. I thought you would have been speaking it more.
I thought you may have gone abroad when I first met you. I thought maybe you have some experience living in an English-speaking country, yet you haven't. So that was quite surprising. I think, yeah, you just sound very comfortable using the language. Yeah, it's fluent. It's very good.
You know, I see a lot of videos out there titled How to Speak English for Beginners. But the advice is always the same. Master one big grammar book or memorize words from your vocabulary book. But you kidding me? That's like telling someone who wants to learn Japanese to memorize every single page of Kojin. That's not what you need, right? What you want to know is shortest path. Today, I'm going to share the exact method that took me, someone who started with zero English, to a level where I can hold a basic English conversation with people from overseas. It's super logical and easy to follow. So don't blink. You won't want to miss a thing. Alright, here's the thing, brother. When it comes to learning English, we've got to cut out the fluff. For example, have you ever taken the ACAN or TOEIC exam? ACAN measures 4 skills: speaking, listening, reading, and writing, right? TOEIC focuses on listening, reading. But tell me this, which of these skills actually really matter for your real-life English conversation? That's right, speaking and listening. But I think most of Japanese people focuses on like TOEIC score. But I think it measures only listening and reading. There isn't like speaking, right? So memorizing a grammar rules and like memorizing a bunch of vocabulary that you might never use is a waste of time. Now, I'm not saying like TOEIC is useless, so TOEIC can stay you motivated. But if you wanna like start speaking as quickly as possible, you need to focus on like speaking and listening. So let me break down exactly how to do that. Alright, so let's talk about whether you can understand native speakers' English or not. So I think it all comes down to 2 things, meaning and sound. It all comes down to 2 things, like meaning and sound. I want to go into too much detail here, but I guess 90% of watching this, the problem isn't understanding the meaning. Your problem is sound. Okay, so let me show you an example. Try to catch what's being said in this clip.
We're not all going to lean in and have the conversation like we're pretty fucked. So I just, like, I'm deeply grateful to this play for, like, leaving it on a question mark and being like, so what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
You know? We're not all going to lean in and have the conversation like we're pretty fucked. So I just, like I'm deeply grateful to this play for like leaving it on a question mark and being like, so what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
You know? So.
All right, so here's the answer. What are you going to do about it? Now, if I show you the text, most of you can understand what it means. But if I show the clip without subtitles, I guess most of you can't understand what's being said in this clip. All right, congrats, buzzer. So that just means you're in the group struggle with sound part of English. So what's the point that I'm making here? The reason why we can't hear the English properly isn't because we're bad at listening, right? Simply, we don't know how the words are actually pronounced. Think about it. What we were taught in school, we were drilled on vocabulary test and like forced to read long and boring text and memorize a like bunch of vocabulary. I don't know when to use it. Did anyone ever read aloud your grammar and your vocabulary list in a natural pronunciation? For me, the answer is no. I don't have experience like that. Actually, it's not. For the way we were taught in school wasn't designed to like help speak or listen in English. It's kind of ironic, right? Nobody's really to blame. But our teacher were just doing their best and to prepare for exam. And maybe our parents wanted a good test score, right? So nobody's really to blame. Getting a good university is our goal. And after that, getting a good job was our goal, right? But buzzers, why are you here now? Why are you here now? Why did you click on my videos? It wasn't getting to the fancy school, was it? You want to improve your speaking skills and listening skills, and you want to communicate with people from overseas in Japan. And if you go study abroad, and you want to prepare for the study abroad and sightseeing, right? To do that, we need to change the way we are taught. No worries, I'm here to guide you through it. Let's go back to the phrases. What are you going to do about it?
So what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
You know?
All right. If you couldn't catch it, do you know why? It's because the way you think it's pronounced and the natives actually say it is completely different. We think sound like, what are you going to do about it, right? But natives actually say it, what are you going to do about it? See the difference? We need to like bridge the gap between how we actually say it and natives actually say it. If you bridge that gap, you can recognize the phrases. And once you recognize it, you won't have to bother because most of you guys already know the meaning of English sentences. You just need to fix that gap in natural pronunciation. The best method for this is shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker's voice and try mimic it, and they mimic their pronunciation, a tone, and listen as closely as possible. Over time, this helps you align your own pronunciation with theirs. The words you can pronounce it correctly, the ones you'll be able to hear that. I spent 3 months doing shadowing religiously, and here what happened. When I first started, my TOEIC listening score was 380, and after 3 months, I got a 455. And after another 2 months of intense shadowing, I hit 480. With that, you're saying I shouldn't brag unless I get a perfect score. Shut up. I still have tacos in nostril. 寒っ。ちょっと家帰ります。Alright, let's dive into the main topic. So, no matter how well you understand what people from overseas say in English, it's meaningless if you can't express your own thought in English, right? So think about it. Do you really want to like hang out with like someone who mumbled and can say word every time you talk to them? I guess what you really want to know is like how to improve your speaking skills. Let me get straight to the point. To speak English fluently, the most important thing is get used to saying English sentences we already know. Everything else is secondary. If someone tells to just memorize a bunch of words like grammar rules, let me know, buzzers. I personally modified their turret, like to supply Tabasco sauce instead of water. Anyway,
So what is this idea? Getting used to saying a sentence is so important. Let me give you an example. If someone asks, how are you? What are you gonna answer? Maybe you're gonna answer like, I'm good, or it's like a textbook answer, so I'm fine, thank you, and you, right? But what if they ask, what's your name? What are you gonna answer? Probably you're gonna say, my name is blah blah blah. It's blah blah blah, right? In my case, it's I'm Yan, and my name is Yan, right? But what if they ask, how was your weekend? See what I mean? It takes a little bit longer to come up with your answer, doesn't it? So why is that? It's because you've been asked, how are you, a million times in your school. And you're used to like responding to it. You practice it so much that it comes out naturally. Alright, as I mentioned earlier, when we're talking about listening skills, we already know the tens of English sentences and English phrases, right? For listening, the issue is that we can't recognize the sound of English sentences, right? For speaking, we're not like get used to saying English sentences we already know. So that's why they don't come out smoothly. You know what? Doing grammar exercises quietly won't help you. Have you ever learned to like speak English just by doing grammar exercises? Has that kind of study really worked for you? For me, the answer is no. Back in college, I worked hard to like memorize a bunch of vocabulary and grammar rules. I went from a TOEIC score 400 to 920 in a less than a year. But here's what I realized. No matter how much I realize and I understand the grammar and I realize like words in reading, that knowledge doesn't come out smoothly when I try to speak in English. Yeah, I was so disappointed. I crammed so much information into my head, but nothing changed. But one day, it all started to make sense. I was practicing lines from American TV drama and repeating them and over. When I got used to saying those phrases, something magical happened. They started coming out naturally in conversations. That's when I realized something else. The reason people improve their speaking skills through study abroad and like online English conversation service and AI English conversation to talk to yourself in English. So it's actually really simple. So getting used to English sentences they will learn. Study abroad, working holiday, online English conversation, AI English conversation, to talk to yourself in English. You notice that all the popular English learning methods in Japan have one thing in common. They provide chances to get used to saying English sentences. That's why people who stick to this method eventually start speaking English. I guess you're wondering what exactly should I do to get used to saying English sentences? That's a good question, brother. If you're a beginner, here's my recommendation. Read aloud from a middle school grammar book. Yeah, I can hear already you're saying, so wait, I thought you hated the grammar. But let me clarify. I said, read aloud from a grammar book. As I mentioned, to speak English fluently, the most important thing is like getting used to saying English sentences we already know, right? But we should just start. Imagine you use the grammar book and got really good at saying, like for example, water bottle. Sure, you mastered the pronunciation of that one word, but how often do you really use it in daily conversation? Unless you're trekking through the Egyptian desert every week, probably not much. Alright, here's the thing. Middle school grammar book forms the foundation of almost every single English sentence. Turn on English drama with subtitles, and you notice that most of the sentences are built using the grammar you learned in middle school. Trying to memorize advanced vocabulary you might never use is a waste of time. For example, practice saying can you. Once you get comfortable with that, you can change the verb and create 100 of different sentences. Alright, so it's a little bit complicated, so look at this. Mastering one word gives you a small and isolated area where you're fluent. But mastering basic sentence pattern expands your range dramatically. So focus on like middle school grammar first. Get comfortable with patterns like can you. Once you've nailed those, then you can like start adding more vocabulary and expressions. This way is much better. And to practice those patterns, you can read a lot from your middle school grammar book and use an online English conversation and AI English conversation, or even like if you can, like go study abroad. Let me take a break. So, how's it going, brother? Pretty good video, huh? So now here's the thing. I have been studying English for almost 3 years. And when I was a university student, if I had come across these kind of videos, so I might have been able to much sooner. But it's been 3 years for me. Alright, before I finish, there's just one thing I want to tell you. Spending just learning a method is a waste of time. The most important thing is to try it and stick with it. This is the only way you'll see a result. You know how some YouTubers says like become fluent in just 3 months. But let me be real with you. It's absolutely impossible. Like for a beginner to become a like native speaker level in just 3 months. It's like expecting a skinny guy to look like Dwayne Johnson in just 3 months. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But here's the good news. While fluency might be out of reach, it's possible to like learn enough English to become a like hold a basic English conversation with people from overseas, right? But if you stick with right method, if you want to know right method, check out my video I made, and it's a little bit long, but I teach you everything you need to do in detail, so make sure to watch it. And after that, all you need to do is stay consistent, right? And that part, brother, it's up to you. If you want an environment where you can study seriously, I run a morning study community, a service where people come together to study English every day from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Changing your environment is the easiest way to like build a new habit. But if you think you can manage on your own, so there's just one thing you need to do. Take action and stick with it. Don't waste your time like clicking a sugar-coated title and thumbnail. Trust me, they're not gonna help you. This is my experience, right? So get out of there and try it and stick with it. And someday come back to my channel and tell me about your success.